Okay, I'm going to give you my prop, which was Viola Wilson.
Yeah, I've got you. I have your name. I don't think I even have your second name.
Wilson. And thank you. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Viola.
It's lovely to meet you and really a joy to meet someone who actually still appreciates the college all these years later.
Yes, well, I've been here a number of times since then. The situation is that I was here from 65 until 72, but I was working in industry in the early 90s and I had to come to the university to give lectures in a block for several weeks. And for several years in the early 90s, I actually stayed in a room here.
You came back to college?
I came back to college.
As a grown up?
As a grown up, yes. And I did notice that, well, the main thing I noticed that had changed is that the women were much more adventurous. When the women first came in 1968, they were doing medicine, social work, pharmacy, those sorts of things.
Uh-huh.
Well, when I was here in the early 90s, I was talking to a girl who was first year. I asked her, what are you doing this year? Oh, she said, I'm just passing time here. Oh, why are you passing time? She said, well, I want to be a fighter pilot and I'm too young to be taken in as a fighter pilot, so I'm doing year one of an arts degree or something like that.
Marking time before she hits the F-111s.
Yes, or whatever it is that she was going to fly. Now, you would never have heard girls saying that at the time when they first came in 1968.
I mean, a big change. I mean, even when I joined medicine, which was in 1975,
yes,
we were about 30% of the intake, and a lot of women dropped out in that time. And in fact, I've just come from a 50th year reunion with my medical colleagues.
Yes.
The women are still working. And in fact, by the way, the women look so good. Mm-hmm. They really do. Yeah. The men have become unrecognisable.
Yes.
They've gone bald and grey.
Yes.
And a bit grumpy, which is not you at all.
No. Oh, well, I hope that's the case. But, of course, I think the women coming into the college was a major change, and an advantage for me has been that we lived together here in the college. And
you mean you and your wife?
No, not my wife. Just the males and the females were in the same establishment, is what I mean, and sort of parallels what was going on in industry
and in society
once I left.
Yeah.
Because maybe 10 years or so later, women started to come into mineral processing in industry, just like they came into the college. They were starting to move into areas where they'd never been before. I remember when the women first arrived in 1968, they were all in this section just above us.
So they were segregated?
Here. Yes, there was a block. It was the 3 floors, about 50 women, and it was either 8 or 8:30. The lock went on the door.
Oh wow!
And if they had to, if they wanted to be out past that time, they would have to get permission from Peggy Burke.
And Peggy Burke, I love that woman. Do you know that?
Yeah. Well, I know her because she came during my time, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't have that much to do with her, mind you, but she certainly did with the women.
I actually credit my entire career through back to that one pivotal moment with Peggy Burke.
Yes.
Because what had happened, I actually arrived in Brisbane in January 1975 on a Greyhound bus. I'd taken the overnight Greyhound bus to get to Brisbane. My grandmother had given me $300 and said, there you go, that should last you the term. And this was all subterfuge because my father did not want me to do medicine. He was dead against it. She bought me the ticket and she booked me into Duchesne. And after a sleepless night on the bus, I arrived at the People's Palace where the bus stopped.
Oh, in the city.
I gave away $20 of my $300 to a taxi, and he dropped me off at Duchesne. And I'm knocking on the door, and finally a nun comes out and she says, who are you? And no, you're not booked in till next week. And I said, well, I need somewhere to sleep. I don't know anyone in town. And she said, no, we don't do orientation week. It was hardly a charitable encounter. And she said, what you'll need to do is to go and check with some of the other colleges. They might be able to put you up just for a week. And I mean, it was blazing hot January, and I had these 2 heavy suitcases. Suitcases in those days didn't have wheels on them. And I'm lugging them all the way around Circular Drive, and finally landed here. There was a student at the office, and the student, back in the day when they were plugging in like a telephonist, plugging in the wires.
They did have a keyboard like that.
And I said, I need somewhere to stay, and you've been suggested as where I might book in. And she said, what's your name? And I said, no, I'm not booked in. I need somewhere to stay. And she said, no, I don't think we've got any room. And I said, no, I'm not leaving until I figure out where I'm going to sleep tonight. And with that, Peggy Burke emerged from the office behind me. And she understood the predicament immediately and how, scared. I was 16 and I'd never been away from Proserpine. And, it was a big deal. And Peggy said, well, okay, we'll see what we can do. And she sort of went back into her office and she jiggled, the rostering and she said, I think what we'll do is we'll put you on Z floor. There are some older students there and I think they'll be able to keep an eye on you. And hence I ended up opposite Tom Mays and Billy Glasson and Pam, an architect from further down. They had these choice larger rooms that you're talking about.
Tell us that you never left Union and went back to Duchesne, or did you go back?
No, I just so enjoyed it. That first week was fabulous. And in fact, the whole 3 years of living here was just fabulous. And I think it was the making of me. When you can turn a corner.
Having people of experience near you would also be very valuable.
But it was fun, so much fun and a lot of guidance, gentle guidance, telling you, you've got to start studying now. You can't keep partying. You've got to start studying now because the exams are just around the corner after Easter. So I think that, just that gentle guidance that pushes you in the right direction, and also finding good friends. To this day, I'm very good friends. I spoke with Billy earlier today and Diane earlier today. And Di and Billy have been great mates throughout my life. Tom Mays is someone who I see from time to time, also a very good friend. And it just makes such a difference to have that connection through life and through your career.